There were several factors that led to the fall of the Roman Republic, but the root to it all was overexpansion. Keep in mind that the Roman constitution was designed to govern a city-state, not an empire. Gains in territory led to an increase in trade, which caused the rise of the merchant class who ultimately imposed their commercial interests into politics. Large slave forces obtained through war replaced the majority of small farmers that were the core of the Republic's society, having been present in early Roman society as well as its army. As a result, farmers moved to Rome and in an effort to make a living, sold their vote. Slave revolts did take place, the last and most famous being the one led by Spartacus with a rebel army of 70,000. This rebellion will be put down by Crassus and Pompey, who will be mentioned later. A factor in the fall of the Roman Republic was the rise of popular tribunes. After wars which gave the Roman Republic massive gains in land and wealth, there was an increasing divide between the patricians and the plebeians. This gave rise to popular tribunes. It is important to note two tribunes, Tiberius Gracchus and Gaius Gracchus. Tiberius Gracchus became tribune in 133 BCE. He proposed bills that would take public land owned by the state and redistribute it among the peasantry to establish them on farms. Attempts to pass his bills only spurred further briberies and broke traditions that held the Republic together since its start, including leaving financial and foreign matters to the Senate, which Tiberius broke in his plans for land redistribution. Running for re-election as tribune, Tiberius Gracchus did away with another tradition, which led to a riot which became the death of Tiberius Gracchus and his followers. Later, Gaius Gracchus also proposed reforms. However, his proposal to grant citizenship to Italian allies was so unpopular, it resulted in a riot which killed him. Despite their good intentions, they only managed to cause political and social turmoil. The rise of private armies also contributed to the fall of the Roman Republic. Soldiers began getting paid with gold and land, a new practice which undermined the concept of fighting for the good of the Republic. This led to an increased loyalty to generals, as it was the general who would be paying the soldiers, not the Republic. Military generals began to gain popularity and recruited their own private armies, especially Gaius Marius and L. Cornelius Sulla. These generals would later conflict with each other in regards to power, and this will lead to civil war and reforms that would permanently destabilize the power of the Roman Republic by having the loyalties of the soldiers bound to the general and not the Republic. Lastly, the First Triumvirate and the rise and death of Julius Caesar will ultimately bring the fall of the Roman Republic. Three elites named Gaius Julius Caesar, Marcus Licinius Crassus, and Pompeius Magnus formed the First Triumvirate. With the enormous combined power, the First Triumvirate intimidated the Senate and ultimately granted them political domination over Rome. Pompey was a famous military general. Crassus was extremely wealthy from prescriptions, a practice which marked a man as an enemy of the state, and upon death would have their property given to the Senate. And Julius Caesar was a popular politician among the mob. With these influences, it was thought that they could effectively rule Rome. The Senate, under the influence of the First Triumvirate, gave Julius Caesar military command in Gaul, modern-day France. From 58 to 54 BCE, Julius Caesar had conquered all of Gaul and raided both Germany and Britain. The conquest of Gaul brought Julius Caesar great glory and a military reputation that rivaled Pompey. More importantly, Julius Caesar had gained the power of an extremely large and loyal army. This led to the beginnings of Pompey's jealousy and suspicion towards Julius Caesar and the intense rivalry between the two that was soon to come. Personal connections between Julius Caesar and Pompey became especially strained when Julius Caesar's daughter, Julia, died. Because Julia had been married to Pompey, there was no longer personal ties between the two elites. Furthermore, Crassus died in battle during his conquest of the Parthians. The First Triumvirate was reduced to just Pompey and Julius Caesar. Civil war between Julius Caesar and Pompey soon followed, the Senate backing Pompey. However, Pompey and his forces were thoroughly defeated at the Battle of Pharsalus in Greece in 47 BCE. Pompey fled to Egypt, where he was ultimately murdered. Caesar soon found himself as the new ruler of Rome and was appointed dictator for life. Very soon, however, 60 senators conspired and killed Julius Caesar on the Ides of March, 44 BCE. This is the mark of the fall of the Roman Republic.